Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Learn with DevOps Engineer. Today we are diving into Docker Compose, a tool that makes managing multi-container Docker applications a breeze. If you are wondering why you should be using Docker Compose in your projects, stick around because I am about to break it down step by step. So, what is Docker Compose? In simple terms, it's a tool that allows you to define and run multiple containers as a single application. Rather than starting each container individually, Docker Compose lets you manage everything with one simple command. The biggest reason to use Docker Compose is how it simplifies managing applications that require more than one container. For example, if your app consists of a web server, a database, and maybe a caching service, starting each one manually can be a hassle. But with Docker Compose, you can define all the containers in a single file called dockercompose.yaml and launch them together with Docker Compose up. So another benefit is easy configuration. You define everything from container images to environment variables inside the Docker Compose file. This file acts as a blueprint, ensuring that no matter where you run your app, whether it's on your local machine or in production, it will always be consistent. No more it works on my machine issues. Docker Compose also make it super easy to scale your containers. Need more instances of your web server? Just add a flag docker compose up hyphen scale. You instantly got three containers running your web service. It's that simple. Networking between containers is another pain point that Docker Compose solves. By default, all services defined in the Docker Compose file are on the same network, which means they can communicate with each other seamlessly. No need to worry about complex networking setups. Lastly, cleanup is a breeze. When you are done with your app, Docker Compose Down removes all the containers, networks, and volumes that were created. No more orphan containers cluttering your system. So, whether you are working on a small project or managing a complex application with multiple services, Docker Compose is the go to tool for simplifying your workflow. So, we are going to discuss about the real world use case web applications with a database. Let's say you have a simple web application that requires two services, a web server and a database. Traditionally, you would need to set up each service manually, link them together, and ensure everything works. With Docker Compose, you can define both services in a single Docker Compose.yaml file and run them together with one command. Let me show you an example setup. So, today we are going to talk about a simple web application, Node.js. I am going to provide you with the source code, and we have like a package.json file. I'll provide you this source code. Link will be, let's say, in the description. Uh, Majorly, we are going to focus on this Docker Compose.yaml file today. So for that, I'm going to write version to start with, then followed by services. So what kind of services? Like we want to spin up two different services. One is like web service and the second one is like a database. So for that, I am going to write web followed by the image which I want to use. That would be node 14, then followed by ports. Which ports to expose on? So that would be for our local host 8080 port. It would be on the container also. It is like the same 8080 port. Then I'm going to define volumes. Here dot slash app, I would like to, let's say, mount this particular directory to the container in this particular location, user source slash app, followed by working directory would be the same. For example, working directory is user source slash app. Enter. Then there will be, let's say, command that would be sh space, because I would like to install some dependencies here. So I'm going to say npm install followed by npm start. npm start. I need to give some space here. Save the file. Then the next container that we would like to spin up here is like DB, so database. So for that, I am going to use image as like MongoDB, followed by ports. Which ports I would like to expose here? So that would be 270.270.71 on the local host, followed by 270.71 on the container. So yeah, this looks good. This is like a very simple file that we are, let's say, spinning up containers, two different containers. One is like for the web and the second one is like for database. So for that, now I'm going to, let's say, run the commands. Now we are going to run docker compose command. So for that, I am going to say docker compose space up, enter. That's it. It will automatically spins up all the containers, sets up networking, and gets your application running in seconds. So as you can see, server is running on port 8080. I'll go there real quick. HTTP localhost 8080, enter. Hello world. So this is like expected. So as you can see, this was like written in our source code, hello world. So that is like, so if you want, you can go to Docker desktop as well to check the containers. So I'm going to check this here on the Docker desktop, containers followed by Docker compose. So as you can see, Mongo is like running and node 14 is also running on port 8080 and port 27071. I'm going to minimize this. Now let's open another terminal and try to quickly tear down the containers. So for that, I'm going to do docker compose space down. It's stopping the containers. It's taking some seconds. Yeah, as you can see, it took some seconds to remove all the things which it created. So altogether 10 seconds for this and 0.3 seconds. So that's it, Docker Compose in action. If you are looking to simplify your workflow, especially when dealing with multi-container applications, this is your tool you need. Be sure to check out the full video and more tips on mastering DevOps with Docker Compose. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more such DevOps content. I'll post all the links in the description. Please do check out. Thank you.